I feel very connected to everything. It's kind of like as if I did something psychedelic or whatever, but it's a soul level, intense, life changing. I don't even know how to use the right words for it. The Hoffman Institute is a in-person retreat. And if you're looking to transform your life, you will consider attending. There are a lot of celebrities, CEOs, business people, but also just everyday people like you and I that attend the Hoffman Institute when you're looking for a real change. It is intense, deep inner work. I did not know what to expect. I went in without doing any research. It just popped up on my Instagram one day in January. And I thought to myself, hey, it can't hurt. I want to try something new. I feel like I've had this blockage in my heart for a long time. I had a lot of self-doubt, felt imposter syndrome often, which I know is not normal because I spoke to some other people and they tell me that they don't usually feel imposter syndrome and they didn't even know what it was when I asked them about it. So I knew it had something to do with my childhood. For those of you who don't know my story, I grew up as first generation American and I grew up with a bunch of childhood trauma, but I knew there was something deep inside that's been holding me back. The Hoffman Institute focuses heavily on childhood experiences. So I booked it in January for August. Everyone that I spoke to who's done it, after the fact that I booked it though, told me that I will love it and it is just life-changing. But they did not tell me what exactly causes that life-changing experience. So I went in without any type of knowledge and just jumped right in. Right when I got there, the first thing that they did was take away our phones. I spent 7 days without my cell phone, without my laptop, without anything. And I don't know about you, but I am glued to my phone. Not only do I have all of my business stuff going on, I also have my kids that I have to worry about and my family. I felt scared and a bit of anxiety when they took away my phone just because I had to think about all the potential things that could go wrong. But that was part of the process. I had to learn to let go and just trust. Every day was about 12 to 15 hours long. I would wake up at 6 a.m. We stayed in some dorms. Everybody gets their own room, but you have to share your bathroom with like 2 or 3 other people. The one that I went to is located in Petaluma here in California. The site in Petaluma is beautiful. We were surrounded by nature. There were deers, there were rabbits, super scenic and very peaceful, calm, and zen. We spent some days in silence, so it was perfect. In the beginning, going in, everyone was a little closed off, including myself. But eventually, as the week progressed, we built a deeper bond and deeper connection, and we started talking to each other. And when I left, it felt like we were a family. And we definitely are now. We have our own community and support system. And I am so grateful that I have this now because we can hold each other accountable. We did a bunch of exercises, lots of visualization, meditation, some other things that I can't really share, but it was very liberating after I learned all the tools and I learned how to control my emotions. The first 2, 3 days are very intense and it focuses majority on your early childhood life, how you were raised, and just like how that's shaped who you are today. Most people, they actually end up quitting the first 2 days because it's so intense and it is a lot of emotions that's brought back up from the past. And there are things that I didn't even remember myself, but it came back out. Like I'm talking about things when I was really young that I don't remember, but it just came out while as we were exploring this time. Even though you don't remember it, your body remembers it and your body remembers the feelings. So when we did certain meditation, visualization practices, I felt my body tensing up or I felt my body feel like as if I was at that age. I'm talking about when I was a baby, like an infant at 6 months old. Like how would you remember anything at that age? But for some reason, my body was able to feel that. So the tools that I learned, I wish I could share with you everything and go in depth, but I don't want to ruin it for the people who are planning to attend the Hoffman Institute because it's something where I want you to go in with your own perception. I don't want you to expect things, and I also don't want you to think that's going to happen a certain way because of my experience. Everyone's experience is going to be different. It is a lot of information. The tools, they're quite, I would say, not simple, but it's something that's kind of like a no-brainer. But once you pair that up with the experience at the Hoffman Institute along with others, it just creates a whole different type of experience. So It would be very easy if I tell you now you should do this, and then you do this, and then you do that, and give you all the steps to become a transformed, better human being. But that's not how it works. Ultimately, it came down to acceptance and compassion, acceptance of myself, acceptance of my past, and compassion for everything that I've been through when I was a child and even up until now. On the last day of the process, we were told that we were going to get our phones back, and everyone was like, we feel some anxiety because one, we don't know if we should check it. Two, we don't know what we should check first. And three, what is that going to do for us after we finish the process? However, afterwards, I just stopped using my phone for the next 2 days after the process because I didn't want it to affect my brand new energy. After leaving the process, I felt strange. I did not know how to act. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be who I was before or if I was supposed to try to be somebody else. It was a really strange feeling. But after 2-3 days of coming back into the real world, I feel more incorporated now, and I know how to allow this new me to be shown in everyday life along with the old me. Looking up a bunch of things online, I do see now that it says as life-changing and it transforms you and that you do become a different person. And it's basically like a night and day difference. And I will say that my partner, he will completely agree because within the first 3 minutes of interacting with me, he was like, oh, wow, I already feel like you're a different person. Internally, though, I do notice differences in me. Like, for example, now I notice myself being more sure, more confident, and believing in myself and my capabilities. When I have self doubt, I'm able to self regulate and just trust in myself, really. I find myself holding my head up higher. And when I talk to people, I'm more present. Now I feel compassion, love, and connectedness with others, even with just bugs and animals and trees and nature. I feel very connected to everything. Sounds a bit funny. It's kind of like as if I did something psychedelic. It's a soul level, intense, life-changing thing that I can't even explain in words. It's something that I feel. I went in thinking that I knew who I was, but now I left and came out feeling so much more sure of myself, and now I really know who I am. I no longer feel like I have a blockage in my heart. Prior to attending this Hoffman process, I was a completely different person. I never used to feel empathy. My friends and family will tell me that I have problems with showing emotions. A lot of my closest friends will tell me they haven't seen me cry before, unless I was drunk or something, but I don't drink anymore. I didn't know how to cry. I didn't have much emotions. I lacked a lot of empathy. I used to tell people that I hired, like, oh, just don't expect me to ask you about your day, because I was just so on the go all the time and my life was moving so fast. But now, after the process, I feel very loving and a lot of light. I've also made some changes in my life so I could slow down and not go so fast. I used to pack in my days with appointments after appointments after appointments. But after coming back, I told my assistant, like, hey, let's just limit my appointments and meetings to 3 a day, because life is going to keep going and time's not going to slow down for you. However, I can slow it down by making changes in my own life and choosing what is truly important for me. This may sound cliche, but I do have a choice. We have a choice. You have a choice as to how you want to live your life. You could live your life down the old ways of thinking and repeating the same habits and patterns and things that you used to do, or you have a choice to pick a different road and go the road of creating new habits, creating new neural pathways in your brain so you can start doing something different and live a life that's more fulfilling. When I die, what type of legacy do I want to leave behind? If I was in my coffin or whatever it is, like, what would people be saying about me? Will they be saying, oh, wow, she was so cold, she was so mean? Or do I want them saying, like, oh, yeah, she was a great person, life-changing, loving, compassionate, kind? It made me really think about that. Like, what type of message or footprint do I want to leave behind when I go? So for those of you who are looking or considering something like this, I would highly recommend looking into the Hoffman Institute.